Hi Taurus, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your March 2022 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's the Celtic cross spread as always, and also pulled the Four Agreements, Oracle card, and Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. So we'll see what we get. Alright. We have Pluto, and Pluto's actually in Capricorn, which is your ninth house, and there is some Capricorn energy in your main spread as well. And ninth house in general is just your philosophy, higher learning, foreign affairs. We have Leo, which is actually your fourth house, home, family, motherhood, and that's actually, there's a full moon coming up on that sign in a couple days at the time I'm recording this, so there could be some significance from that leading into March for you guys. And we have 11. So 11th house for you guys is Pisces. And right at the beginning of March, there's going to be a new moon in Pisces. And of course, there's going to be a lot of Pisces energy in general through Pisces season. So definitely be some situations with your friendships, groups you deal with, hopes and wishes. All right, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Devil. So this is actually Capricorn energy, which, as we mentioned, is your ninth house. And obviously there was tons of energy going on there. We had a Mercury retrograde that started in Aquarius and then went into Capricorn. That wrapped up recently. We had the Venus retrograde going through here as well. So there could have been a lot of reevaluation around that area of life for you guys. For some of you, this could still be related to your work too, though. But either way, what I feel like more than anything with this energy, regardless of what area of life it's impacting, I feel like this is pointing to a situation where you might feel karmically tied to it. So even if you want to separate from it, I feel like you might feel like that's a bit of a struggle. And for some reason, you just keep feeling like you're drawn back into the situation. In the challenger obstacle position, we have Justice. So it could just be one of those things saying that something needs to take place in order for you to be freed from this type of bond. But with this showing up in the challenge position, I feel like this is saying that the challenge there is to achieve balance, right? So could just be one of those things where either you might owe something to the connection or someone might owe something to you within the connection. So that could be what's preventing the ties from being broken at this time, or from at least having it function in a more positive manner. In the foundation position, we have the Queen of Swords, which is Libra energy again. So at the very least, this does show that there is potential for that balance to be achieved. For some of you, this could definitely be around your work lives. For some of you, it could even be possibly some kind of addiction that you're trying to shake as well. So that could be anything, doesn't have to be anything too crazy. It could just be as simple as too much caffeine in your diet or something like that. But yeah, that's what I see with this. It looks like it's saying that that's going to be an area of focus for you guys this month to try to figure out how to balance out a situation. All right. In the past position, we have the Chariot, which is the major arcana card for Cancer, and Knight of Cups, which is Pisces energy. So, seeing these two cards in the past, especially given that if we look at the Justice card pointing right toward the Chariot, could be saying a couple of things. If this is around, let's say, a connection that you're separated from them physically, but you still feel a draw pulling you back toward this person, it could just be saying, let's say, if they made an offer to you in the past and for whatever reason you rejected it, right, but now you can't get the person out of your mind, it could just be saying that that's what's preventing the connection from being broken there, which is to say, if they made an offer in the past, then it might be up to you this time to extend that olive branch this time around. That's one way it could be playing out. For others of you, it could just be saying that you might have even had another opportunity come your way, and you might have actually, for whatever reason, declined it, and now you feel like you're stuck in that previous situation. But yeah, it looks like there was definitely a good opportunity that came your way in the past, or you might have extended this offer to someone else in some cases as well. I could see that going either way. Especially for you guys, Cancer is your third house communication. So it looks like there was some communication around an offer that seemed pretty promising. All right, in the present position, we have the King of Pentacles. So this is actually the court card energy for your sign. So this is definitely a good thing to see in the present, because I feel like this is saying that you're in your zone right now. So whatever the situation is, I feel like you're in a good position to handle it. Now, for some of you, this could just be saying that at the present time, you might just be trying to stay still around the situation and figure out what your next best move should be. So that could be primarily part of what's going on, where maybe you have this realization that something does need to change, but you could just be pacing yourself like, okay, I know something needs to happen here, but until I figure out exactly what that move should be, I'm going to stay put, right? All right. In the near future position, we have the moon. So, um, like I was saying, at the time of recording this, we haven't officially had that Leo full moon yet, but chances are, given that this is in the future position, this might be pointing more to the Pisces new moon, which is going to be in your 11th house, or possibly even the Virgo full moon that we'll have in March, which is your 5th house, romance, creativity. So it could just be telling you to keep an eye on those lunar cycles this month, because they might actually help shed some light on your situation as far as what you need to get done. And if you're not seeing a situation clearly, it could just be pointing to you having to feel your way through a situation. Usually, what I explain with the moon card is the best way to think of it is like if you're in an unfamiliar room and the light were to go out, right? You might have felt perfectly fine navigating that room with all the lights on, but with the lights off, because it's not a familiar environment for you, you might be a lot more careful to make sure you don't bump into anything, knock anything over. It's not that any of the stuff moved around when the lights went off, it's just that you're not comfortable enough to navigate through it without being able to see where you're going. So it could just be one of those situations there where you just need to feel a situation out. All right. In the position of your influence in a situation, we have the Three of Wands. So this is similar to what I was saying there, where I feel like this is you in a position where you're like, okay, you know something needs to be done, but you're not quite sure what it is just yet, so you're staying put. For others of you, though, this could be saying that you have the expectation that it's on the other party in this situation, whatever it is. Like I said, it could be work, friendship, romantic relationship. You could be feeling that it's another party that would actually need to be the ones making the adjustments and not you. So that's one way that you could be approaching this as well. But what's interesting to me is looking at the Queen of Swords in the spread. She's pointing in that direction of the card in your position. So for some of you, you might have to actually just take a closer look at that, right? Because what I see with this pointing to it could just be saying that maybe the reason why there is no movement in the situation is it is up to you this time to actually make the adjustment. So going back to the example that I was given there. So let's just say if this was like a romantic connection, right? And in the past, the person might have been putting in the majority of the work, right? With the Chariot and the Knight of Cups. And you just might have been in a more receptive mode, just taking everything in, right? And now it could just be saying if there's an imbalance there, and yet you feel like you can't separate from the connection, the reason why those ties could still be there is because it's saying karmically now it would actually be on you to put in some of the effort. So if you're just staying in this position of constantly wanting to receive in a situation, it could just be saying that you're just going to feel stuck until you actually take action on your part. So it's not necessarily going to be the case for all of you, but that's why I'm saying you really have to evaluate, like, okay, am I the one who's just been taking, right? If not, then yeah, you probably would be better off to remain in this position, which is to say the other party's going to have to be the one to come forward this time around. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing with that energy. All right. In the environment position, we have the Lovers. So this is actually the major arcana card for Gemini, and of course the artwork here does have some obvious similarities to the Devil card, just obviously a flip of the energy, right? Where we have the very dark background there versus the very bright background. We see the two people, they're chained up here, here they're free. We still see the figures with the wings in the background, obviously very different depictions, right? But could just be saying that this is the other side of that energy. And now, as far as what could be there, it could just be saying that this month there might be some energies at play to help free you from a karmic connection in that regard, right? So we see the chains broken here. Now, another way it could be playing out too, though, and it might be pointing to why you might be feeling stuck in the situation, is if we think about it from another perspective, which is I usually point out that with this card, it looks like things being worked out behind the scenes, right? This person, he doesn't even look like he's aware of what's going on behind him. It looks like she has some recognition of it, But it could just be saying that things might be getting worked out behind the scenes. But at the same time, this could be this person's expectation. So that would be where it would work out in a more negative sense, which is to say, if you're waiting for this person to come toward you and do something and they're expecting the same, right? Right? Like, oh, this will just get worked out behind the scenes. I'm not really going to do anything. And neither party is taking action. That could lead to that feeling of being stuck, right? If there's still karmically something to be worked out between the two of you, but both is expecting the other to make the first move, you could just feel like you're stuck in that cycle right now. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Hangman and the Ten of Pentacles. So yeah, I'm going to assume that these are probably both a hope here with the Hangman. I feel like this is saying that you're hoping to see things from a different perspective in order to get you to that Ten of Pentacles point that you want to be, right? Which is the stability. Now, the Virgo full moon that we talked about could definitely help with that. So definitely be on the lookout for that energy. It'll be around the middle of March. And that might actually help shed some light on how you can get to that level. But that's what I see with that. And in the outcome position, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is actually Taurus energy here. And usually when I see this energy, it points to a couple of different dynamics. One is where this person could just be comparing, right? Possibly this is what they've grown and they're looking at what others in their environment have grown and, just comparing like, oh, what I have isn't good enough, right? Another thing could be reflecting on how much effort it took you to get those 6, right? Now you're like, I only have one more to show for it. Do I have the energy to continue to build this up? So again, like I said, it could be a job that you've been working in for a long time, and that could be how it's playing out too, right? Where maybe the job environment here and they always promise you some big raise or some promotion, but then they always move the goalpost, right? So every time you achieve a new goal, before they actually give you the raise or the promotion, all of a sudden then they change what you need to do to actually get there, right? So you could feel like it's constantly shifting without you actually seeing the reward. So that's one way it could be playing out, right? And then with the karmic energy there, it could just be saying that you need to come to that realization that, okay, realistically, is there ever going to be that fair balance where the work I put in will actually be compensated fairly? And if not, was there another offer that I might have passed on in the past that I could go possibly look at again? Yeah, that's one way I can see that playing out. So yeah, but I feel like this is saying, if nothing else, that it looks like there is a need for action on your part in order to break this stagnant energy where you feel like you're just stuck in a situation. All right, and bottom of the deck we have the Page of Cups. So yeah, again, this could definitely just be saying to take some kind of movement, take some kind of action around the situation. And beneath that, we do see the Two of Swords. So it looks like you just might not be ready yet. Good thing we see beneath that, though, is we have the Ace of Swords. So, again, especially seeing that moon come up there, just be on the lookout for the lunar cycles that'll come up for you guys in March, because somewhere in those, they might actually give you that sudden insight you need to actually figure out what your next best step should be. All right, so moving on to your 4 agreements card, we have Don't Make Assumptions, Assume Nothing, and let's see. All right, it says in any kind of relationship, we can make the assumption that others know what we think, and we don't have to say what we want. We assume they are going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they don't do what we want, we feel hurt and think, how could you do that? You should know. So for some of you, that could be what it is too, right? With that 3 of Wands energy especially. That could be one of those things where, so let's talk about it from a different angle, which is, say, if you've been the one putting in most of the work to this point, right? And now you're just feeling like, oh, well, they should know I've usually been picking up the slack in this connection. Now it should be their turn to do it, right? So you're in that King of Pentacles energy with the expectation that, oh, surely they know that I've been, let's say you've just been cleaning the house the past few months, right? You're like, all right, they know I've done it the past few months. They should do it this time. And they don't, right? So it could just be saying that, yes, logically, I'm with you on that as far as they should realize, okay, well, Taurus has done it the last few times. Maybe I should pick up the slack now, but they might be viewing it more from the perspective of, oh, maybe they just like to do it because they've always done it to this point, right? So you might have to actually vocalize to them, hey, I've been doing this for the past few months. was hoping you could actually pick up the slack for the time being, right? So that could be what it's pointing out too, where this person could just be oblivious in a way. So I don't even think it'd be like intentional on their part for the majority of you, but you just might need to actually vocalize to them, hey, I need you to do this time, you know? All right, moving on to your Wisdom Oracle card. We have Yang. There's the artwork, and the number is 1. So we'll see what that has to say. Okay, it says the masculine principle of movement and creative activity, the power to make things happen, taking action. Okay, the Oracle's message says Yang represents the power of action, the energies that propel the world forward, and manifesting thought and desire into concrete form. Now is the perfect time to act, for you can easily build momentum and make headway. What you want will come to fruition if you proceed confidently. This card signifies new life and is a sure sign that obstacles have been overcome. There is no reason to hesitate. You are the shaper of your destiny now. So, pretty positive message there. And then the relationship message says circumstances are supporting action on your part. It's okay to make the first move. Trust that you will quickly know where you stand. In matters of the heart, there is movement toward your highest good, so go forth with assurance. Passion is in the air, and now is the time to dance to the tune of love. Take the lead. So yeah, like I said, for some of you, if this is more of a connection where you're not actually together at this time, but you just feel that draw to this person, that could be pointing to that, right? Which is to say, you could just come forward, let this person know you're interested, and then from there, it looks like things will move smoothly for the majority of you. The prosperity message says projects, partnerships, and all matters related to your business are out of the obstacle phase and on to the make it happen phase. Now is the time to stake your claim and get things done. While you can expect to be busier than usual, this card tells you that you have all the energy and vitality you need to accomplish your goals. Abundance is waiting for you to claim it. So pretty positive message there too. And while I was reading that does remind me of the fact that for the majority of March, I think starting in the second week, you'll have Mars in Aquarius, which is your 10th house of career and social status. So if this is around career, that's actually going to help give you guys the boost in that regard. And Venus will be there as well. So a lot of energy in your 10th house in March. So there is something more career oriented you need to take care of that should help with that. All right, lastly, we have a Mudra card for you guys. And this is your Mudra here. It's the Garuda Mudra. The keyword for it is maturity. Alright, looks like we can't fit everything in the frame here, so what I'll do is hold it up for a second if you want to pause it to take a screenshot to read what it has to say. And then we'll move it up to get the rest in the frame. Get it to focus again. There we go. Under benefits, it says improves intelligence, increases digestive fire, activates Manipura chakra, builds martial prowess, and according to legend serves as protection against snakes, snake bites, and venom in general. So if that sounds like a Mudra you think would be beneficial for you guys, I will put the name in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.